Hello everyone, and welcome back to another unit comparison here in Wargame Red Dragon, and we're looking at Scandinavia. We're actually getting kind of close to the end here as we are in the Air tab, and we have the Block 15 compared to the F-16AM, the Danish ASF compared to the Norwegian ASF here, and they both have different availability, they both have some very different performance, and they are going to be your main two options. Now, I know personally I tend to go for the F-16AM, but that's just my choice, and I'm really curious what our expert Orangina has to say on the subject.
So personally, I think a very solid pick is the Block 15, but some players do like the F-16AM. The thing that the Block 15 has going for it is it has that 6 HE uh, Sparrow, which if that hits, that deals a lot more suppression than the AMRAM. And though it is semi-active, if you hit the one on the first shot, it's typically enough sometimes to just outright stun the opponent's plane, and that can't really fight back as the Block 15's dogfighting it and pounding it with SRAMs and its Vulcan.
So can you just expand maybe a little bit on what semi-active means? Because we see guided in other tags, like with the Erics or in the anti-air tag, but semi-active, is that the same thing? Is it different? How does that work?
So there's basically two main things to know. The first thing with semi-active is that it typically is a lot slower. It's around, if I recall correctly, 3/4 the speed of a radar missile, which might not seem like a lot, but in-game, this ends up being a big deal. And a bigger thing, though, is you'll see that fire and forget tag on the AMRAMs. That means that even if this thing is shot down, as long as that AMRAM's in the air, it can still hit the opponent's ASF and kill it, effectively trading, which the Block 15 can struggle with.
Hmm. So that sounds like a lot of arguments against the Block 15, but I think one thing that we also haven't mentioned so far is the veterancy, and that is something that it seems to me really matters for ASFs. And the Block 15, you do get two of them on Elite compared to the two on Hardened. Is that sort of another reason in favor of the Block 15, or is that really not as important as I'm making it out to be?
That is actually incredibly important, and I'm glad you mentioned that because having an ASF on Elite means that most of the time, compared to, or more of the time compared to other ASFs, you're rolling crits and stuff, and it just gives you a significantly higher hitting power, even though they have that same base accuracy. Because on Harden, that's what, like maybe 15% less accuracy if I remember shorthand the values. And a lot of the other stats are still the same. Like that even means your Vulcan is more accurate, your SRAMs are more accurate. It's really good thing to have elite ASFs.
Gotcha. Well, hey, I stand corrected. I'm going to try out the Block 15 the next time I'm playing Scandi, and we'll see how that goes. That is going to be our unit comparison for the day, looking at ASFs, and I think that will wrap up Scandinavia. So many thanks to Orangina for guiding us through this very popular, very powerful faction, and we'll be back with a different faction for you guys tomorrow.